What is up? What is up? What is up? Happy Friday, TGIF. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. What is up? We have a game in 2 days. Let me drop the intro and we'll get right into everything we got to talk about today. Yo, what's up? How's it going? Eric O says, let's go. Niner Gang says, what's up? TGIF. T Advice says, let's go. Nia Perez says, literally what I look forward to every day. Yo, appreciate you so much. Riley says, what's up, Raj? Can't wait to be in Levi's this Sunday. Yo, I can't wait either. I can't wait to see everybody there. SF 49ers for life. Everybody's here. Yo, Wayne Breezy in the building. The Slasher Gamer. What's up, man? What is up, everybody? It's Friday. We got a game on Sunday. We have a massive game against the Seattle Seahawks, a division rivalry, a massive NFC West showdown. I know it's week 2, and it's hard to sit here and say it's a must-win game, but you can't lose division games. And my boy Fred Warner, shout out to Lolita Customs for the new Fred Warner shirt. Woo! My boy Fred Warner, if it's up to him and his defense, you know they're going to bring the heat, and we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of things to talk about. But I think the first thing we need to talk about, what's up, hey, Peter Parker? I think the first thing we need to talk about, this is what Ryan McDonald's comment says, make it rain, Trey. I think we know what we need to talk about as we start the show, because the media, they got a little wind of this video that dropped last night. I'm sure you guys have seen it on Twitter somewhere or Instagram. I mean, let's get to it. So there's a viral video that leaked last night. Actually, I saw this video on Monday. Someone DM'd me on Monday and was like, yo, Raj, this better not go viral. This is not going to be good for Trey, because you know how the media is doing Trey dirty. They're doing him dirty, making him look bad. And this video, you know, there's going to be people out there that think this is bad behavior. He's at a strip club. He's 22 years old. It is what it is. You know, he's flaunting the money. We've all seen the video. But the thing about it is the media is making it seem like this was right after the Bears game, which to me, there's no way. He had a press conference right after the game. They get on the team bus. Like, they're actually ready to go back and travel back to, you know, to California. I don't know how this was supposed to be right after the Bears game. And at the end of the day, man, this video, it's bad because it's going to make people question him. And I know he's so young that it's bad for the media because they're going to continue to bring it up and hate on Trey, which they already have. Now, I don't care if he's a 22-year-old man going to a strip club, because that's what 22-year-old men do. You go to the strip club. Shit, we've all done. But this is why I don't like the fact that this has got viral, because when I saw it on Monday, the original link, someone actually tagged me. They tagged me, TMZ Sports, 49ers, and Bleacher Report, like 4 big pages, obviously hoping that one of us would retweet it. I wasn't going to retweet it. I got players following me. I don't need to deal with that clout and whatever that goes with it. I already got a lot of supporters. I didn't need to go out there and post this video. It is what it is. Again, I don't have a problem with Trey Lance go to a strip club, but the media does. And I wanted to play this clip for you guys. So let's take a look at this is what Colin Cowherd said today. I think I posted a little bit of this on the YouTube. Colin Cowherd, man, oh man, this guy has flipped the biggest switch. He was such a Trey Lance supporter on day one. Now let's watch what he said today. Like, he went in and he absolutely ripped Trey Lance. I'm going to play the video for you guys.
Favorite.
Twitter. The way he said Twitter. Twitter is not real life. Twitter. Twitter went off last night. If y'all was on Twitter last night, it was an absolute circus. It was wild. Like, and that's what we don't need, all these distractions. And again, this video went viral. When I saw it on Monday, I was like, oh man, I can't believe this video circulated. And I was like waiting these last few days. And as soon as I saw it, like getting, you know, a lot of hype, because the guy that DM'd me on Monday, he was like, yo, Raj, it's viral. And I looked on Twitter, and I was like, oh. And I knew it was going to be a hell of a night. Like, it was, the memes were coming out. You got people sitting here questioning Trey. they're going to put this like negative light on Trey. He didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do anything like Deshaun Watson. He didn't hit anybody. Made it rain a little bit in a strip club. 22 years old man. Doing adult entertainment. Doing adult things at an adult entertainment establishment. Now I get it, he's young. But the way that the media portrays it makes it sound that he did it right after the game. And I think that is the issue I have with the whole situation. As I knew it was going to get big eventually. But the fact that people are making it sound like he did this right after a game, that's silly, man. And I feel bad for Trey. He's already dealing with a lot of scrutiny. The media is coming at his neck. This was a tough video to be leaked right now against the Seattle Seahawks. But hey, you know what? He just got to go make it rain against Seattle. That's what he has to do. He has to go and make it rain. No pun intended, against Seattle. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at some of the comments, see what you guys have to say. Jesse says the video looks old. It does kind of look a little bit older, right? I don't think it's newer, but again, we don't know. We don't know when it was. Drunk Polish says, yeah, it's just a low quality video. It was definitely a low quality video, so it kind of looks a little older. I truly think that the video was probably around the time he was drafted, but I'm not sure. It looks like maybe when he was drafted or when he got announced as quarterback one. Like, it does look like it's a time where he was celebrating something. Obviously, you go hang out and you have a bunch of your boys there. You were celebrating something, and that's what I think it was. It was a day where they were celebrating something. Now, the thing that killed me is whoever was filming him, they didn't have his back. They filmed it with a purpose, and eventually, you can't have a camera around you. Can't have a sucker man. You need a true cameraman, not a sucker man. Because a lot of athletes go to the strip club, right? A lot of players, Michael Jordan, James Harden, like players historically have done it. I'm sure a lot of NFL players, like a lot of players have done it throughout their career. They don't get caught, and they don't get the cameraman leaking their stuff everywhere. And this is a tough time because he's young, and this stuff getting leaked out there, it does look bad on him because there's going to be people out there that are going to, again, scrutinize him and say, you should be focusing on football. We know he's focusing, but the way that people spin it in the media, man, they put such a twist on it that it does look kind of crazy. And this is the social media era. Everything gets seen. Every little thing gets seen and broken down and twisted and turned. It's unfortunate. So Max Out says they hate our quarterbacks because they got swag. Slick says, since they're already trashing Trey, let's give him something to talk about. It's funny because a couple of years back, Jimmy Garoppolo, porn star, right? He was dating a porn star. And that's what happened with Twitter yesterday. People were going crazy. I think the 49er fans actually support this because Jimmy Garoppolo, right? A couple of years back, he porn star Jimmy. And now you got lap dance Trey. That's what everybody was saying last night. Lap dance Lance. Like, the memes, I'm not even going to lie. Some of you guys out there, y'all got some jokes, man. Some people know how to use these memes and take a joke. It's not really a big thing about it, right? Again, I see how the media is going to come at this and make this a big way, and the way they spun it was, oh my God, this is how Trey Lance prepares for the Seattle Seahawks after a loss. But man, they people are having fun with this, and that's what's tough. You don't need all these distractions, but it is what it is. We have to move on. We have to move forward. Some people, man, they just didn't like it. Again, there's going to be people that are cool, whatever. It is what it is. You're a grown man. You're an adult. You can do what you need to do. And then there's the people that are just absolutely not on the Lance train now, or they were kind of on the outskirts, and now this kind of like pushed them away because they're like, oh my God, immature, not good sign, not a good sign. And it strengthened some of those people that really hated Trey. It made them hate him more, Like stuff like this, when it comes out, it's just like people use it as their fuel to their fire, A couple of months ago, I remember when Mac Jones during the draft last year, not months ago, but last year, remember when Mac Jones had his viral video when he was at the club? People reacted a little differently than Trey Lance, People were laughing like, haha, oh my God, this guy gets no play. Look at him. He's such a nerdy dude in the club. Trey Lance, a little different standards. But it is what it is. Like I said, we got to move forward. Hopefully the Niners get this dub on Sunday. We need to get a win no matter what. No matter what happens this Sunday, the 49ers have to leave Levi Stadium with the dub going into Denver. Week 2, you cannot lose another game. And this is a division rival. Yeah, right? It's crazy. My man, Dami says, why does Trey Lance have the shortest leash of all time? It does seem like that. It seems like he can't make any mistakes. Third game as a quarterback, starting. This was his third start, and people are already writing him off. I want to share this tweet with you. This is good timing. Jason Laconfrana. I can't pronounce his name. Jason LaCantera. Is that his Jason LaCantera? That's his name. So he wrote an article, and this is what he says about Trey Lance. He says that there might be some quarterback turnover in the next couple of weeks. This is what he says. He goes, Trey Lance of the San Francisco 49ers says, if you read this space last week, you already have a feel of how tenuous the situation is. The 49ers went through quite a process with estranged backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, bringing him back into the fold just before the season. And Lance struggled in the opener. The team thinks it has a Super Bowl potential, right? And then he says, and the internal hope was that the games against rebuilding Bears and Seahawks might help provide a soft opening. Gulp. If the 49ers open 0-2, people who have worked with and for Kyle Shanahan anticipate Garoppolo will be starting by week 3 with a strong Broncos defense. So, my man, La Confora, this is what he said. This is what he says. He thinks that if Trey Lance struggles against Seattle and they go to 0-2, we're going to see Jimmy Garoppolo. And this is what the media is looking. They're saying that, and he further added, he said that Kyle Shanahan, like his peers in the media are going to look at him like, yo, you can't keep doing this. Like, this is what the media is pushing out now. They're saying that people in the media, like Kyle's coach peers, are going to push him to make this move. You know, earlier this week, you had Chris Sims. We played that video. Chris Sims says, people in the locker room want Jimmy Garoppolo. They think he's better. Like, this is what the media is doing, man. And you're absolutely right. The leash is so short on Trey Lance. It's like he can't make one mistake. It's like he can't breathe. And I feel bad for Trey Lance. Like, it's just unfortunate because I do feel that you're right, that he has probably the shortest leash I've seen on a starting quarterback. Probably ever. It's just probably ever. It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. And I can't believe that his leash is that short, you know. I don't know if Kyle believes what all these people say because, you know, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they talked today, or John Lynch did today, Kyle Shanahan earlier this week. And I like what John Lynch said because they asked him. I'm going to pull up the tweet. I was listening to KNBR this morning, and this is what he said. He goes, I'm not focused on the noise at all out there. He says, he's focused on making sure that the best team possible is out there on any day of the week. And then he says, furthermore, on the Trey Lance noise, he goes, everything is being analyzed and overanalyzed. So he said that everything in the media right now with Trey Lance is being analyzed and overanalyzed. He says, don't listen to the noise. He goes, listen to the people that matter. And this was kind of his message to Trey Lance. Listen to the people that matter. And then they asked him about the Mike Martz stuff. Like, they were waiting. KNBR was waiting for Lynch to, like, go off on all these reporters and all these analysts, like Mike Martz and Cowherd and everybody. They brought up the Lacanfora article, too. They brought it all up. And this is what Kyle Shanahan says. He goes, I don't choose to fire back. Forget about the noise. And he says, you would think a guy like Mark Martz would know how to handle things differently. John Lynch dropped bars. He dropped the mic. And he says, you would think a guy like Mike Martz would be able to handle things differently. He says, I'm not going to fire back. Because the media wants Kyle. The media wants John Lynch. The media want us to be dramatic. They want us to give them more bulletin board material. They want us to feed them with stuff that they can write about. They want the Niners to go out there and feed into their game. And John Lynch kept it a buck. Kyle Shanahan kept it a buck. And they're supporting Trey, man. This team has their back, has Trey's back, and they have to continue to stand united because the media is trying to break down the 49ers for whatever reason, for their selfish media clicks, whatever the issue is, whatever the media wants to gain out of this. You know, of course, they want stories, they want viewership, they want their shows, their channels, their podcasts to get attention, and they're doing it at our expense, and it's absolutely crazy, man. Leroy says it didn't even look like they were in a club. It looked like it was a house party. It looks like a house party. You're right. It did look like it was a house party. It doesn't look like it was a strip club. I'm no expert, but Didn't look. I'm from Vegas. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm from Vegas. It didn't look like a strip club. We're gonna keep it at that. It did look like a house party. Let the kid live. But he's 22. He's not a kid. Let the man. He's a young man. 22. How many of you guys were at 22 years old having a dope party? I'm sure you did. If you had that much money and you had a little time on your hands and you were celebrating something, you probably want to do that. But hey, again, I'm not going to sit here and break all that down and criticize anybody. Niners just got to come out and win the game against Seattle, right? My man says that video of Lance has almost 1 million views on Twitter. That video is crazy. Everybody's talking about that video. 1 million views. My man John V. What's up, John V? What's up? Longtime supporter. He says the organization shouldn't have moved up with the Super Bowl caliber roster and taken Trey. They're bound to F this up, especially a franchise influenced by outside media. You know, and that was the big when this all happened, when the Niners made that move for Trey, they made the move to get a quarterback. Like it really shook the NFL foundation. Like I remember when that notification dropped and that announcement, like they're trading up to the number 3 pick. I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy! This is crazy!" Because they already had Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And they spent a lot of money on the guy. And then there was people outside saying, you know, the Niners don't need Jimmy. Don't need Jimmy. Got to move away from him. And that was the media. And everybody was boom, get away from Jimmy. You know, he's got the injuries. He's never going to lead you. Boom. They made the move for a future quarterback. And then it was the media saying it's going to be Lance, it's going to be Fields, it's going to be Mac Jones. And the media kept on swirling around. And the Niners said, screw it, we're going to take Trey Lance. This is the guy. And the media was wrong. But now, a year later, there continues to be like controversy following this whole situation. Like this whole quarterback situation has taken away from what a great team that this roster is. And it's tough, man, because I want them to just focus and have one quarterback and not have to deal with all this media. And then, yeah, you brought back Jimmy. And, of course, the media is going to look at that and say, oh, you brought back Jimmy. You must not trust Trey Lance. And that's the way the media is going to look at this. So it's tough, man. It's tough. Special guest coming in the building. My man, Wayne Breezy.
Yo, what's going on, baby?
Not much, man. We just talking about the next game coming up, Seattle. We talking about Trey Lance. You know how that story came about, you know, the viral video. We talked a little bit about that. I'll probably get your thoughts on it. We talked about Colin Cowherd absolutely ripping him today. Oh, my God.
Shredded him, yo.
Shredded
Straight
him,
up
bro.
shredded him.
Shredded
like,
him.
With an exclamation point, bro. It was like, dude, why? Here's my thing, yo. Why is everybody in the national media going after Trey Lance so hard? He about to make people walk on water or something, bro. He about to split the Red Sea or something. Trey Lance is going to make people do things like I can't figure out why the whole, like, that's why I'm trying to get our fan base, like, listen, get behind this kid and rock out with him. Give him your undivided attention. Give him the chance you gave to Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody gave Jimmy Garoppolo a chance because he came in there and won 5 games in a row with a limited play calling at the end of a season when there was nothing on the line. And then the next season after that, he went and got hurt. Then he came back, and then a team that was constructed and put together, Kyle and John finally were able to put together a well-built team. And then with that, Jimmy Garoppolo, we went to this, to the Super Bowl, and we lost. And then the year after that, he gets hurt. And then the year after that, we get to the NFC Championship and he was hurt again. So we put all of our trust and faith in this guy, and now it's time to move on from him. And nobody wants to give Trey Lance the time. It's really blowing my mind, bro. Like, it really, truly is.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what we were talking about. Somebody in the chat said that they feel like Trey has the shortest leash as a quarterback that we've seen. And I said, that's a good point. He does seem like he has a short leash because you're right. Jimmy, he came in different circumstances. Our team was so bad, and I think that was the difference because we have a elite roster now, and you had Jimmy, but, like you said, he was getting hurt. So they went and made the move, blockbuster trade to move up. They went and got the young quarterback. But when Jimmy came over, we didn't have him, but we had C.J. Beathard, and they passed on Mahomes and Watson and all these guys. And Jimmy came in, they won 5 games, and it was like, oh, my God, this guy can win games. So he took over at a time where we were desperate. So I think people kind of fell in love with that mystique, that aura. And you're right, they gave Jimmy so many chances. And now the fans, the media, nobody wants to give Trey a chance. I mean, not everybody, but there are a lot of people out there that they're bashing him, man. And then you got when I saw this video, I saw this a couple days before it went viral, and I was like, hey, man, leave this out there. I hope it doesn't go viral because I thought about it and I was like, the moment this does, with the way the media is going, it's gonna be just ugly for him. And I knew the media was gonna attack him even more. And sure enough, man, when it dropped yesterday, it went viral. Like the media spin today has been ugly, man.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people are saying that it doesn't look like Trey Lance. Guy looks shorter in the video. I mean, and to me, it looks like Trey Lance. And here's the thing: we talked about this earlier on my show. Even if it is Trey Lance, why does anybody care? Like it's not. He's not doing anything detrimental to your personal life. He's not
Mm-hmm.
doing anything to defame. Enjoying his life. And I don't understand why that's got to be a big, blown up spectacle for the whole media to like take a hold of. First thing you want to criticize this guy. First it was Mike Martz, right? Mike Martz went to work. He slandered Trey Lance something big time. I was like, damn, did he do something to you, Mike, for you to say these kind of words? I couldn't figure it out. Then it's this. And then it's them being critical of him in the first game. Shout out to like guys like Richard Sherman and those national media guys like, yo, just relax. Like Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah, like they're like, relax, yo. Like it was the first game, it was a monsoon, and he still outperformed Justin Fields. I don't care if Justin Fields had 2 touchdowns. Let's talk about how he got those 2 touchdowns. Factor in the context. Because at the end of the day, the 49ers defense still held that whole team to 205 yards. They held them to 105 passing yards. That defense was on point, and they're the number 1 defense in total yards right now. I just don't understand why, this whole situation, this cloud is around Trey Lance. It's like he can't even go out there and be his best self because he's already like, the adversity is real. And this is why I didn't want Jimmy Garoppolo on the team, because I knew that they were going to hold this and try to castrate this young man for every little thing that he does. And with Jimmy here, it's like, just wait for Trey to mess up. Just wait for the coach to say yes. It's crazy, bro.
And that was the issue that I had too coming into it. And I did buy into it. I did say, I think this is going to be good because we got a backup quarterback is better than anybody in the league. As long as he gets to the point where it's only an injury that forces him out, that's fine. But the way the media is pushing this, and I think somebody in the chat mentioned this earlier, and I think it was John. He says that the Niners kind of succumb to that media, and they do, like, they kind of feel that media pressure sometimes. And if the media keeps pushing and pushing and pushing for Jimmy to come in, they may do it. Even if it's not, and tough thing for a young quarterback to deal with, no matter what, no matter how he feels, no matter how he handles himself. In the back of his mind, he's probably like, shit, dude, I still got Jimmy there. Like, he's a starter on this team. We obviously know he's started games for this team. There is that probability. There is that chance for Jimmy to creep in, and the media is going to keep pressuring him. And like you said, there's people that are right now saying if the Niners go 0-2, they got to start Jimmy. And that's silly because look at the Niners when they had Jimmy struggling. I mean, he was just playing so bad. Last year, there were some games where you're like, what the fuck? Get this man out of here. And they were calling for his head. And now it's flipped the story around. Trey had one bad game in the rain, a sloppy game, whatever, and now they're calling for his neck. Like, let the man have his moment. Let him struggle. Let him go through his ups and his downs. Crazy to me, man. And I think this game, Seattle, is a must-win game for the Niners and Trey Lance, man. So,
it most certainly is must-win. It most certainly is a must-win game. Most certainly. It's more of a must-win game for Kyle. That's what this is all. I don't know why anyone's upset with a 22-year-old kid that is in his 3rd start ever in the NFL. It's crazy to put anything on. Trey is a soldier. That dude he's doing what he's told. You know what I'm saying? The guy in charge, his name is Kyle Shanahan. And that's who runs a team. That's how it works. It's not it's Trey's team. He's quarterback 1, right? He leads them on the field for sure. But the guy calling the plays, the guy coaching the team, that's the coach. That's Kyle. So like when you have all those penalties and you can't stay on side and you're just getting flags all over the field, that's because you're undisciplined. That's on your coach. So when you know there's rain coming and you're not practicing in the rain, if the ball's not wet, if the field's not wet, that's on the coach. That's not on Trey. So preparation, in-game management, you lose one player. What were they preaching in the offseason? This team is not predicated on one player. Switching quarterbacks isn't going to make the difference. You lose Elijah Mitchell, you lose your teeth. You lose your backbone. So Kyle says one thing, but then on the field, it's a different story. Leave the kid alone. It's not his. Like there's another one I saw. It's Jay Moore or someone said, why aren't we putting Trevor Lawrence to the same like caliber as Trey? Like why isn't everyone hammering on Trevor Lawrence? He plays for the Jaguars. The Jaguars didn't give up 3 first-round picks for him. You know what I'm saying? The Niners put Trey in this situation. You gave up 3 first-round picks for the kid. You made all the mess. You were in the NFC title games. You did all the drama in this offseason. You couldn't handle your business. You had guys leave. The contract talk with Debo making public. That's the front office. You can't handle your business in private. That's on you. That's not on the team. That's not on Debo because you can't handle your business. That's not on Trey Lance because you can't sign a good offensive line. The offensive line's completely lost. Mike McGlinchey's not going to hold up for 17 games. That's not on Trey Lance. That's not on Trey Lance because you don't have a left guard or a center. Like, you look, everyone's like, oh, Trent Williams didn't have the game he usually has. Yeah, because the dude next to him, he's petrified. If he does too much, he's not going to know what he's doing. If Trent Williams does what Trent Williams does, it used to be that Laken Thomas is right next to him. And Laken isn't the best left guard in the business, but he knows what the system is. He knows what's expected of him. Trent, you don't know what the heck Aaron Banks is capable of. You don't know. Kids, come on. You redshirted him all last year because you didn't believe in him. You didn't trust him to play on the field. And now all of a sudden he's right next to literally the best player in the NFL. Like, come on. And for the media to put anything on Lance, that's just drama. Bro, it's like I said, you're the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. You're famous whether you want to be or not. Yeah, you're famous whether you want to be or not.
Go ahead, Raj.
No, go ahead.
No, I just wish, other than Trey Lance, somebody would tell somebody to just shut up. Yeah. Like I don't know. I'm sure they can't do that, but I'm wishing like another player, and they try, right? Like, oh, Trey Lance is fine. Trey Lance is going to be this. Just wait. And I think the issue is, I think we have accepted the fact that we're going to be patient, but the national media won't, because they need stories. They need to prove that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch messed up. They need to prove that Trey Lance is going to be a bust. They want that. That's a story for them. That's what's juicy for the national media. I don't know what Chris Sims gets out of trashing Trey Lance and all this type of stuff. And Colin Cowherd is clearly butthurt about something. And so it's just weird, yo. It's just a weird vibe. But you know what, Trey? If you're watching, the one thing you can do is go out there and win games. Because when you win games, you're gonna silence your haters, bro. And like I don't think he played as bad as everybody is saying he played in Chicago. I think that with the combination of things, and then their ability to not be able to run the ball with their running back, I think that changed up the whole dichotomy of things. And you watch the quarterback try to put the team on his back and get a win. That's what happened. And then all of a sudden they go down, and then now you're asking your quarterback to throw the ball, which I will say this: if it rains on Sunday, I have 100% confidence in Trey Lance in rain. I have probably like 30% confidence if it monsoons. It's a different thing. And I think that if we weren't down by 9, all right, it would have been a different game plan for us to do whatever we had to do. But because we were down by 9, and then all of a sudden the heavy rain came, it was almost impossible to Trey to throw that ball. He was still out there trying to wheel it and deal it. So I'm going to give Trey props. I think he's gonna at home. he's going to show up and show out against Seattle. Why? Because he had a taste of them last year. He came in half of the game. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, and he came in, and we almost won that game with him and Trey Sermon. Go figure that. Him and Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon's gone. Now it's Trey Lance time. I really not worried at all, even with the offensive line, guys. I really think you give them 3 or 4 games, they're going to be gelling. If we go 3-5, we can still make the playoffs, guys. We did it before. We can do it again. We got to relax.
I agree. You got to relax.
I agree.
And again, you're right. Fourth quarter, that's when the rain just started to piss down on the floor. Like, it was a monsoon in the fourth. You were there. You know exactly how it was. It was wet the whole game. But fourth quarter, down 9, it was it's hard to come back. Your first game of the season as a starting quarterback, trying to come back in those conditions, it was tough. No excuses, but it definitely was a tough situation. And again, if they didn't put themselves in that position, they should have won the game. I mean, Trey missed the pass to Tyler Kroft. He has to hit that shit next time. And Deebo Samuel, you can't be fumbling in the red zone. Like, those are issues. They got to be cleaned up all around. Every single mistake needs to be cleaned up. I like the comment. This is kind of exactly what you said. Big Beard says, you know, a lot of y'all are soft as hell. If Trey wants the media to shit up, go out and ball out. Like, honestly, got to go out and prove the haters right. Like, you got to just do your thing. And that's really what needs to happen. Is Trey goes out, he wins, balls, has a good game, media's going to shut up. And he needs to keep doing it. But unfortunately, because he does play in this San Francisco market, there's always going to be drama. They love to stir it. They love to have those stories, like you said, Wayne. Like, the media loves to get some juicy little story out of the Niners, man. And for whatever reason, the Niners are attracted to that kind of, like, every year there's some story that revolves around the Niners in the offseason, and it delves into the regular season. Like, no, I just don't feel like every other team has the same amount of drama as some teams do. There's some teams that usually have some controversy, but the Niners, man, every single year, there's always something. They're going crazy about 49ers. Twitter is a hot spot every offseason, man. But you know what? You guys are absolutely right. All Trey needs to do is go out and ball out. And I was at the Seattle game last year. Jimmy leaves the game, calf injury. The defense was tearing it up. Jimmy couldn't move the ball effectively other than the first drive where he gets a touchdown to Dwelly. And I was like, okay, holy crap, this team looks good. And here come the Seahawks. They figured it out. Russell Wilson, thank God we don't have to play him, but we still got Pete Carroll. And you know what? I want to pull this stat up. I think you posted this on Twitter, Wayne. Look at this up. So Kyle Shanahan is 2-8 versus Pete Carroll. The 49ers are 30 against the Seahawks. 2-8. Yo, that is a stat. When I saw you, I was like, oh my God, bro. I was like, Kyle Shanahan is 2-8 against Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll literally owns the man.
2-8, y'all.
Win this game.
Here's the thing. Pete Carroll owns the 49ers, bro.
He does.
Like,
he owns
Jim Harbaugh. He owns, you name the coach. He just owns him. And so I wrote an article on 49ers Web Zone about why. And I really think, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong because I love to be corrected, I really think it comes down to mentality. Pete Carroll is an aggressive son of a bitch, yo. Like, an aggressive, and he will do whatever it takes to win a football game. Whatever it takes. How many times has Pete Carroll won with a bunch of nobodies? Like, he drafts 7th round picks, and then they become the Legion of Boom. He drafts the quarterback like Russell Wilson, and he signed the starter, who was supposed to be the starter, Matt Flynn, and then all of a sudden Russell Wilson looks better, and then they've been on the up and up ever since. They should be on the decline, and they somehow beat Russell Wilson. Like, Pete Carroll, people don't give him his props, but you got to watch out for old man Pete because old man Pete played by a different set of rules, y'all. That dude is old school. He's been around for decades, and he knows football inside and out, and he's aggressive. His mindset is different. Kyle Shanahan can't let Pete come out and do shit. Kyle needs to be, Pete's going to do a fake punt. Pete's going to do a fake field goal. Pete's going to do a fake this, fake handoff, fake this, fake that, fake. Just be prepared for Pete. That's all I'm going to say.
100%, man. Pete is an expert. Like, I hate him. I hate Seattle, but you can't deny he's a great coach. 70 years old, man, and he's chewing the gum still, walking out there without a limp. He's doing good. And he puts together, like, I don't even know half the players on this roster, and they look pretty solid on Monday against Denver. Like, their defense came to play. Obviously, it was a revenge game. They had a lot of chips on their shoulder. You know, you're playing against Denver. But, man, Pete had this team well coached. He's like Mike Tomlin. He's like the white Mike Tomlin, man. He gets his team fired up and coaches them right, man. He knows what he's doing with them.
Yeah, he plays a smash mouth style of football. His defense is super aggressive. His offense, dude, what do? They run the ball over and over. They pounded it with Penny. They threw it over the top with DK Metcalf. They have a physical receiver on the outside. Like, we do have to watch our P's and Q's. I know coming into the season, people were like, hey, we're going to smoke Drew Lock. We're going to crush Geno Smith. You're not playing those guys. You're playing Pete Carroll. It's different. You know what I mean? Like, Geno Smith doesn't run the team. Pete Carroll runs the team. So, like, it's going to be a tough game. And if the Niners come out and do the stupid penalties like they did last week, if they don't commit to coverage, bro, you look at that film. Every time when the touchdown happened to Dante Pettis, he rolls out to the left. Everyone saw the film breakdown, right? Everyone saw the film breakdown. He rolls out to the left. Arik Armstead overcommits, misses the sack, and then the coverage just busts. Everyone just starts running after the quarterback. So, like, I don't think that's going to happen 2 weeks in a row. I think D'Amico is going to be on top of them. I think they're going to be on top of Dre Greenlaw. And I think that the Niners come out with a big dub. Like, I really believe it in my heart. I don't care the rain. I don't care about any of that. I think they're going to come out and be smart and shut people up. My worry is they started 3-5 last year because there was turmoil in the locker room. Whatever we want to say, there was. Dude lost 7 home games in a row. All right? Like, there was turmoil in the locker room. It can't happen. They have to see that whatever that was last year, that was last year. It's done. Whatever happened last week, it's over. The team's talented. The players are there. That's it. They can't. I hope that, like, they're not listening to all the nonsense and lap dance Lance and all that bullshit, because it's just noise for social media and clickbait. Just go do your job. Just go win the football game. That's all that matters.
That's it. That's all that matters. You got to get the dub no matter what. Hopefully we stay healthy in doing so. But you're right. I still think that the Niners have a better team overall than Seattle. But again, it's a division game. You can't matter.
You can't overlook them.
It doesn't matter who's better in a division game, because division games bring out the rival. Like, teams want to beat their other opponent in the division. They want to cost them a game out of the season. You know, like last week, everybody thought the Bengals were going to come in and stomp the Steelers. Steelers beat them. I mean, Steelers beat them because they well coached. They have a pretty good defense, and they knew it was a rivalry game. A couple years back, right, when we had a terrible season, I think the year when Jimmy blew his ACL out, we weren't winning games that year. Our whole team was terrible. And what did we do? We actually beat Seattle Seahawks. Like, it was Richard Sherman revenge game. I think we won 2 games that year, and we won that Seattle game. It was like, wow, how the hell did we win that game? That was our Super Bowl. Like, division games are different, man. It doesn't matter who's on the roster, who's healthy. Division games are special. The Niners and the Seahawks play very competitive every year for the most part. I think the last 6 games have been decided by a touchdown or about a touchdown. So this is going to be another competitive game. Seahawks know how to play us because Pete Carroll knows how to play the team. He knows how to watch what Shanahan's doing. So it's going to be a battle of masterminds. And Kyle has to come in and make sure his team is prepared, because last week, like you guys were talking about, what Wayne said is this team was not prepared right. And I think, like you said, Vlad, D'Amico, he knows he's got things to fix. They have to fix those issues on defense because they played great in the first half. We know Bosa is going to come with it. We know Warner's going to come with it. We know everybody's going to come out and fire, but they have to play a full game. You can't just play half a game, 3 quarters. You got to play 4 full quarters. Come and bring the hard hats on. Clean mistakes up. You got to get on top of Greenlaw. Stop being so aggressive. Greenlaw is a good player, but he can be a little too much, too heady sometimes. You just got to calm down. And then now there's there is a big matchup. Like, whether you like DK Metcalf or not, he's a good receiver, man. Like, let's be honest. You got Charvarius Ward, Mooney Ward, and DK, and then you got Emmanuel Mosley and Lockett. or are they going to switch him out? I don't know, however they're going to do it. But they got two good receivers we got to account for. Geno played good in the first half. They did kind of shut him down. Denver did in the second half, but Seattle was able to kind of play that good red zone defense. They always have good red zone defense, so that's something we got to keep an eye on. The Niners have a young quarterback in the red zone, and they struggled in the red zone last week against the Bears, so they have to improve in the red zone. So those are the things that the Niners have to kind of look at. And then who the hell is going to run the ball? We know Mitchell's not going to be there. I didn't like what I saw to Jeff Wilson. Is it going to be Mason? Is it going to be TDP? Whoever steps up this week in the running game has a beautiful opportunity ahead of themselves. Like if TDP comes in and has a game of his life, he's going to continue to roll out that the rest of the season. Or if Mason does, Kyle Shanahan's going to roll him out because he said this weekend or this week in the press conference that he's going to go with the hot hand. So whoever plays well is going to get the touches, and that's who needs to step up. All these running backs have a massive game in front of them right now to prove themselves. And then you got Deebo Samuel, who he's going to get his carries. So somebody's got to step up, man.
Yeah.
For once, though, guys, I would like to see Deebo Samuel not get the carries. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let this guy be a wide receiver for this particular game, and let these four guys at the running backs change up the pace and do what they do. So I'm hoping like Deebo doesn't end up running the ball the majority of the game because it's kind of a telltale, right? You put him in there, you get him behind the line of scrimmage. Next thing you know, they're already thinking, unless Kyle, see, the one thing we forget about is that Kyle Shanahan plays are like puzzle pieces. So just because you saw formation and you saw play and it didn't work out like it was supposed to, you might see that same thing and it might be something totally different out of that same formation. So even if Deebo does line up in the backfield, it could be a fake this, that. Next thing you know, he's throwing the ball over the top to a tight end wide open over the middle because he slipped out underneath the pressure and then boom, he's wide open. So I just saying that I want to see these running backs, like you said, get the belt, like the bell cow, be the bell cow of this team, and let Deebo Samuel kind of get a break. Jeez, Let this guy go out and catch some passes. You want to know why he keep dropping passes? Because he's also getting hit in the run game. Like, let this guy chill out in the run game just for a little bit, and then let him go out there and be, I want to, what I want to see offensively? Chicago played a lot of cover one man, right? So he had a single high safety over the top. You know why? Because we didn't have anybody to run down the goddamn field.
Yeah.
Everything was like, there was no deep routes.
Short pass all day.
All day, bro. All day. Seattle likes to play cover two man. So I'm saying this. Trey, air that hoe out. I want to see some balls.
We need Danny Gray. Gray.
I agree.
He better be active, bro. He better be active because I can see 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, Danny Gray, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo not on the field. I put Ray out there. Now you got a guy that can cut up in the middle. You got Brandon Ayuk that can run the intermediate routes, and Danny Gray taking the top off the defense. That's going to force one safety to be nowhere near in the play. And that's what was pissing me off. But the weather, whatever. Yeah. If the weather is decent, I want to see some top off the D. Pause.
Yeah, they have to.
We need to see the top out of D. We need Danny Gray, speed threat. Because Seattle, you're right. They got good corners, man. Quandre Diggs, great safety. Tariq Woolen, the rookie. I like this kid coming out of college. He looked shiny last week. So you got to come out and hit him with speed. You got to go over the top. And I agree. I love Deebo. I know he can run it, and I know they're going to try to give him the ball every way they can. But, man, if TDP and Mason can step up, that's what we need. We got to take pressure off of Deebo because he's going to have to play a lot, especially if Kittle doesn't play. We'll talk about Deebo in a minute, but I need Mason and TDP to step up for me, man. What do you guys say, Vlad?
Yeah, I was going to say they need to have one of the other running backs. Like, they spent on TDP. Like, they spent another third rounder on a running back. Give him the ball. Like, if you value him that much where you're going to invest a third round pick, then hand the ball off to him. Otherwise, why are you drafting him? Oh, to hold him off for next year? No, then you're bad. Then you're bad at your job because you're trying to win a Super Bowl now. You're not trying to win a Super Bowl maybe next year, right? Or maybe you're not trying to win a Super Bowl now. Maybe you're trying to just see how things work out. I don't know. But, like, if you draft a dude in the third round, they did the same shit last year with Sermon. They drafted him in the third round. They were like, we don't know if we want to commit to him. And then Mitchell, took the ball. Like, got TDP, give him the ball. If he doesn't look good, Mason looks good, give him the ball. But like, don't try to like start a run game by having your quarterback run a bunch and having Debo run a bunch and having to do all these jet screens and plays like that. Like those plays are cool when you sprinkle them into the offense, not when you build your offense around them.
Yeah, I agree. You don't just make it your primary focus. It's like Wayne was saying, you can use the illusion of those plays where you have to throw teams off balance. It's like, oh, they're going to do this. But when you don't, then they start getting confused and they're like, okay, now I can't read you. So if you sprinkle it in and you don't make it like your primary offense, then yeah, you're right. That's a great tactic. But the problem is Kyle Shanahan sometimes gets too complicated for his own self. He overthinks things. And then like last week when Mitchell went out, I think he just like fell apart. He was like, I don't even know what to do at this point because he didn't know who to trust. And then you had no Kittle. I want to talk about George Kittle here. George Kittle didn't play last week. He missed all practice last week. He missed 2 practices this week. He came back today. Good news. He did look like, better, like Shanahan said. Shanahan says he looked awesome. Let me pull up the tweets here. So Kyle Shanahan said that George Kittle is questionable. He's going to be a game-time decision. He was bracket practice. He looked awesome, right? Like, that's great news. It's great news. But we still don't know if George Kittle's going to play. And if Kittle doesn't play, that's another factor in this game. We need Kittle. And it's tough because, yeah, at one hand, it's, okay, you don't want him to risk getting hurt early in the season. And then the other hand is you need all your best players, all hands on deck, especially for the run game. You need him to build some chemistry with Trey Lance, man. Like, he hasn't really had the chance to develop with George Kittle, and you need him out there. So it's tough, man. I want to see Kittle because you know what Kittle does, man. It's just so funny because today everybody was like, oh yeah, Kittle, he's back in practice. A week ago, everybody was calling him Brittle Kittle. So people never stay true to their self. Look at what George Kittle does, man. Let me pull this video.
Looks like this one's going to stand in George Kittle.
Maybe not. Is it coming up?
Amazing.
Yeah,
inbounds. Amazingly scores an unbelievable touchdown for the San Francisco 49ers.
Playmaker. And you want your playmakers out on the field. Too. You know what I'm saying? He's also a veteran, and he could provide that security blanket for a young gun like Trey. You know what I'm saying? And so his position, his health status is kind of like detrimental to the team. Can the team win without Kittle? I'm sure they can, but I'd much rather them win with Kittle in this lineup and 49ers purely dominating. Like, I want a dominant win, yo. I don't want to beat Seattle by 2 points, 1 point, 3 point. I want to beat these mofos by 13, 17, 21, 24. Like, I want Pete Carroll to have to go through 35 packs of gum because he don't know what the hell is going on.
I want Pete Carroll to just be like, oh man, just go through the struggles. You're right. I want the Niners to get a definitive win. Again, I'll take any type of win. A win's a win, but it would feel better if it is a definitive win at home. And one thing Vladdy mentioned is Kyle Shanahan, his record at home usually isn't good. Like, he does lose a lot of games up. So this is what we need. We need a definitive. Let's come out. Like you say, you love the faithful. You love the crowd noise. Let's go out and get the crowd a win, man. I'm going to be there. They need to give me a dub in person. You know what I mean? Like, it's different when you go to a home game and you see them lose. You're like, oh, man. When you go to a road game and you lose, it's like, okay, whatever. They're fans. They're happy. They're going to leave home happy. But when you go to a home game and you leave with the loss, man, it just feels crappy. So you're right. And Kittle is a guy that is absolutely needed for this offense to thrive. He's a playmaker, like you said, Wayne. Like, you saw that tiptoe catch. Like, that's the stuff he brings to the team. He crushed the Seahawks last year. I don't know how he lost that second game, but he historically has had some massive games. When he's on, he's on.
We lost the second game because Richard Hightower fucking farted on the field, and then they ran a fake punt, and then the team was in shock and traumatized, and there was no recovering from that. That's what it was.
I was just man. Again, that's Pete Carroll getting the best of us.
And anyone that gets mad, like anyone that talks crap about Kittle being injured, like, first of all, that dude's injured because he plays so hard. He plays such a physical game. And the other reason he's injured is because he plays with such, like, he doesn't care what happens to his body. He goes and for those hospital passes that Jimmy's thrown to him before, and that puts him on the IR for weeks. And what do you think that does to your career? When you have to miss time and you have surgery, it's not like, oh, well, he's healthy now, he's 100%. Like, that takes time off of your career. Like, it just does. So that, like, George Kittle, that guy gets whatever he needs, all the time he needs, all the chances he can get, because that guy sacrifices everything for this team, for the game he plays. That guy's the best. If he needs a week off, give him a week off. It's not his fault that you didn't address the offensive line. Like,
yeah. But he goes out and he sticks his neck out for
he balls out.
Yeah, he does whatever he needs to do for this team. And I got so much respect for Kittle. Like, you're right, and I've said it. He plays so physical, man. Like, he plays at a level that's just like, wow, man. Go out there.
Special.
It does hurt. It's like Gronkowski, and I've said this many times. George Kittle is a lot like Robert Gronkowski, where the fact that they go out there and they're just looking to hit people, get hit, whatever it is, whatever they got to do. But all that blocking takes a toll on a body, man. And, we need them out there because our O-line is still a work in progress. They're young guys. They need time to gel. Kittle is needed, man. We definitely need his presence. So it's going to be a game-time decision. And, I mean, again, I look at it two ways. If it's raining, which it's supposed to, I don't know if it's going to be that rainy, like Chicago rain, or just regular Bay Area sprinkle weather. But it has rained pretty bad here in the past, like the Colts game last year. That was an ugly, rainy game. So it really depends on how he's feeling. If he's not 100% and it's raining kind of bad, you probably got to hold him out because that rain and a groin injury can be ugly, man. And groin injuries are just so pesky, man. It's a dangerous situation.
Yeah, he's too important to the team. They have too much invested in him to like just roll him out there. Like, it is what it is. This team, hey, it's like they said, the team doesn't rely on one player, right? So if George Kittle is out and you can't win a game, that's not on George Kittle. That's because what are you doing, right? You can't.
Yeah, somebody
say,
else.
Well,
somebody got to step up. They got to step up, bro.
You have to playmakers everywhere. Like, there's playmakers, there's talent everywhere, all over this team. It's crazy the amount of talent this team has. Use it right. Do the right thing. Like, the fact that, like, oh, the playbook doesn't change much, whether it goes from true. I hope that's not true because the talent changes a lot. The capabilities change a lot. I hope the playbook changes with it. You know what I mean? Like, I hope to see, maybe it's not this week because of the rain, but I hope to see in the next, maybe it's going to be in Denver, a mile high in that altitude. But I hope first series, I hope they have this week, Trey airs it out. With all the nonsense and all the media and all that drama, I hope he just rips one right down I hope so, bro. Like, they need to let him loose. The kid's got all the talent.
Go ahead, Wayne. You were saying that somebody needs to step up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what these players got to do, bro. Like, they just got to find a way to step up. You know what I'm saying? And, like, shout out to Tyler Kroft because he looked like he was definitely going to be that. When I went back and watched the game, man, I was like, man, Tyler Kroft is blocking his ass off in this game, yo. And he's getting zero credit for it. You know what I mean? And I thought that was really cool. Now he's got to go out there and be a weapon in the pass catching game. You know what I'm saying? He's got to go out there and be a weapon in the pass catching game. And once he does that, this team's going to be right in sync. I'm hoping we can go out and run out some more 2 tight end sets other than, us trying to get them stupid quarterback sneaks and things like that. But we got to get these guys to step up, man. We need our wide receivers to step up. Look, I know they can make some catches, but they got to make more. They got to go out there. Jawan Jennings was the leading wide receiver last week. We need Debo to not drop these certain passes. You know what I mean? Like, let's call them out, man. These guys got to go out there and do the things that they got to do. I'm parallel parking and talking trash at the same time. Your boy is multi-talented.
Bro, that's skills. Parallel parking and talking some Niner analysis. Yo, that is some mad skills. Shout out to Breezy, man. That's talented. Like, it's not easy to parallel park again with going out there.
Hell no.
I love it. So, and I agree. Somebody has to step up. Like, the fact of the matter is we have George Kittle. He's such a good tight end. But after that, it's like the talent drops off. Somebody in the comments, Manny says part of the reason Debo fumbled is because Ross Dwelly can't block like Kittle. Debo had to cut through 3 defenders because Dwelly just can't block. Like, I get it, too. I agree. Like, Tyler Kroft was blocking, but he doesn't catch as good as, like, a guy like Dwelly. Dwelly, he could catch, but he can't block. So it's like they need to address this. I think he said in the comment, maybe next year you draft the tight end a little bit higher. And I love George Kittle. It's not that we're replacing him. You need some depth. You need somebody that can step in and help because Dwelly just hasn't become that guy. Charlie Warner's a good blocker. Tyler Kroft, he's, not bad. But we need another guy that if Kittle does miss some time, that can step in and do what Kittle can do. Obviously, you can't replicate Kittle because he's one of one. But you need a better guy that can come out there and really step up and, help in the time like this. So it's tough, man. These guys have to come in and play their game. Like you said, Juwan Jennings played good, but Debo needs to do more. Brandon Ayuk needs the ball more. And again, that goes back to play calling, preparation, not just the players. It's a whole team thing, and everybody has to step up, elevate their game. If a player's out, people got to step in and do what they got to do. But I'm expecting this team to come out and be pissed off, be upset that they lost last week, clean everything up. I think the Niners I think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like you want, Wayne. I know you want this.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a divisional game. It's never a blowout. It's going to be a close game, but the Niners, like I said, they just got to be the more aggressive team, but the more smarter aggressive team, right? Look, Dre Greenlaw is over aggressive. If you want to know why he's making dumbass penalties, is because his aggression is like on level like extra 100. Like it's just overly aggressive, and so he does little silly things just to show that you know what I'm saying. Like that's who he is, and I get it, but he's got to dial it back. And you know what? I was cool with the majority of the penalties, but I wasn't cool with the face mask because you got to know to get your hand, not put your hand in somebody's face mask. That's number one. And then they got to fix. I'm cool with like a roughing the passer from an edge rusher. Like if they're, going at the quarterback and they call some bullcrap call, but rough, like when the quarterback slides, just don't touch him. He's giving himself up. You don't even got to hit him. Quarterback's giving himself up. Yeah. Right. You don't even got to do that, though, because they're
already giving him up,
Yeah, once they slide that feet first, they're giving themselves up, man. Now, if they slide head first, that's different. Feet first, they're giving themselves up.
Speaking of sliding, what do you guys think? Trey Lance needs to slide, yo. Justin Fields the other day, he says, I got to talk to my boy, get him to learn how to slide. Justin, I think you posted it on Twitter the other day.
He did. I heard him say that, Raj.
No, you posted the Trey Lance video where he goes, I'm not going to slide. I'm going to take that extra yard. I want to keep pushing and not settle for a fourth down. I want to get that first down. Like, I get it. He's a warrior. And then you got Kyle that says, I think he's doing a good job of protecting himself. There's other ways to do it where he puts his head down. He's right. Trey puts the head down and he just goes for it. I need to see Trey Lance slide, man. I need the fucking sliding.
He's got to protect himself.
I think Trey. So the one thing we gotta trust is that Trey Lance understands his body better than we know his body. And I know us looking from the outside in, you got to get down, you got to slide, maybe you'll get a penalty flag. That's going to come. I promise that's going to come. But for right now, you got to remember, man, Trey Lance is used to running motherfuckers over, bro. Like that's, and he said that in the press. He's like, look, I realize that the guys are bigger, the guys are faster, and I can't just run them over anymore. So it's going to come. But he's looking to get first downs. And here's the thing. If the 49ers aren't in 3rd and 13s and these long-ass predicaments to where he got to do that, I'm sure he would take a slide. But that 3rd and 13 run was magnificent. The linebackers dropped back. Trey Lance held the ball. Quarterback draw up the middle and bumbled and stumbled his way for a first down. And so we just got to trust that he knows his body better than what we think, even though we know he needs to slide. And I think he knows he needs to slide, but it's going to come. Remember, this is all Kyle Shanahan's fault. If Trey Lance got the reps last year and we didn't win last year, I'd rather have struggled last year. And I know I'm not saying that out of hindsight, but at least Trey would have had time to come back in here and we can have something to measure his development against. Right now, this is a developmental year all the way through, win, lose, or draw. It's all development.
You said it. Yeah. I got desecrated for that one last year, Wayne. I'm going to let you take that one.
But it is, though. It is all development. I don't care if we got a Super Bowl team right now. Guess what? We're going to have the same fucking team next year. Why? The majority of those players signed those long extensions to those contracts. They 3 years, 4 years. And now we just got to figure out how we going to piece together an Al-Shire or Dre Greenlaw if we bring those guys back. There are a lot of expired contracts, but the 49ers will figure it out when time comes. At this point, we got the core. The core will be back next year with Trey Lance in year 3. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He should have taken his lumps last year. What do you think, Vlad?
I think it's that's really what it is that brings me back real quick to the Trevor Lawrence comparison. Trevor Lawrence was the first overall pick. That was a bad team. We had a middle of the draft pick. They moved up to get him. That's a good team. So Trey Lance, let's say this. If it went crazy that draft day, right? If the world went crazy that draft day and Jacksonville took Trey Lance first overall, right? And then the Jets took Zach Wilson second overall, and then Trevor Lawrence ended up in San Francisco. Do you think Trevor Lawrence would have sat that season?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? Because if Trevor Lawrence drops down to number 3, you're going to get rid of Jimmy as fast as you can. Doesn't matter what you get back for him because you got Trevor Lawrence. So when people say, "Oh, you look at Trevor Lawrence, you don't get the same." Trey Lance, they moved to get him. They said this was the guy, and we're gonna sit him for 2 years. That's what they told you right in the beginning. We're gonna sit him for 2 years, and we're fine with it. We have the financial stability. We're comfortable with paying Jimmy for 2 years and Trey Lance sitting for 2 years. They saw how quickly everything fell apart. 3-5. The locker room doesn't know what's going on. The fans are going crazy calling for the GM and coach's job. Everything is on fire. And you're like, oh, shit, we should have started Trey Lance.
Yeah. So I want to get to the tweet that you're referencing. So I don't know if everybody's heard this or seen this tweet. Can't hear a tweet. They haven't seen this tweet. So Jay Moore, I don't know if you guys know who Jay Moore is, but Jay Moore tweeted out, he says, Trevor Lawrence, the most pro-ready quarterback since Andrew Luck, has been getting a pass for a year and a half now. Says Trey Lance, the youngest quarterback in the league, making his 3rd start, is getting killed. And then he says, the coverage of the NFL is a joke sometimes. What do you guys think of it? Like that definitely is spicy. Like, he's right. He's right, though, Vlad. Like, I get it. Trey Lance is coming into a hot, team, a great team, win now, Super Bowl roster. He's still 22 years old. He's still the youngest quarterback in the league. Like, I get it. But Trevor Lawrence, struggling. I know he's on a bad team. He's on a rebuilding team in Jacksonville, whatever the case is. He still gets it's still like, oh, well, he's still a generational talent. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Like, maybe Justin or maybe Trevor Lawrence is not a generational talent. Maybe he's not. I get he's on the Jaguars. And it's not fair to say, like, okay, what if Trevor Lawrence would have went to the Niners? Like, he didn't, though. If he's that great, if he's amazing, he should be able to take his talent and make it stick in the next level. But the whole point is, it takes a long time for an NFL quarterback that comes in. It takes a while for them to hit their peak. Like, it took Josh Allen 3 years. Justin Herbert's great, but he still doesn't, like, hit his peak. Like, he makes mistakes at times. Or Joe Burrow last week got dog blocked, right? Like, he makes mistakes. Like, nobody's perfect. Quarterbacks are going to make mistakes, man. But,
I mean, Tom Brady's 45 years old and he still throws interceptions. It's like, I don't get why I don't get why they're so hard on this kid and all he wants to do is play effing football, bro. And I hear you, Vlad. Like, I heard what you said at the very beginning of the show about, the 49ers traded up. They did this for him. Now they got to show up and prove. That's why the media is all on Trey. But damn, man, like, it's going to happen. Like, the media ain't stupid. A lot of the people in the media are football people. They know it takes time for a quarterback to sit there and develop. They know it. And Trey is he's in his developmental mode, and he just luckily happens to have some really good pieces. So he's not as accurate as every other quarterback in the league. Okay, but he can hit big plays. And so maybe Kyle Shanahan realizes, like, you know what? F this quick game stuff. At this quick throw stuff, let's set it up to where Trey can read the field and get the ball down the field. What's wrong with that? I don't get it.
I just think it's like what the system is going to be the system, right? Shanahan seems to want to run things his way, and I think that's really what it comes down to. When they drafted Trey, it was John Lynch talking Kyle into the idea that, no, this kid can run your system. He has all the athletic gifts that you want, but he also is smart enough to sit there, read, listen to what you're saying, comprehend the aspects of the game plan, and follow through with what Kyle wants, right? That it's the marriage of both worlds. When you say the thing with, and just to end it with the Trevor Lawrence thing, that dude had the worst coach in the NFL last year. The worst. Awful. True. Okay? He got Doug Peterson. He threw over 40 passes his first game this year. For week 1, over 40 passes, and he looked good. No interceptions. 40 times he threw. So Trevor Lawrence is going to be just fine. He's on the Jaguars. It's going to take some time. Trey Lance, he's also going to be just fine. But if the front office was smart and let him start all the games and said, listen, it is what it is. If we don't make the playoffs this year, we don't make the playoffs. Because now what I say, when in private I said this, if they don't make the playoffs this year, oh my God, if you think the media is bad now, God forbid, knock on wood, if anything happens like that, and apart from injury, but if they miss the playoffs this year, if Trey starts all the games and they miss the playoffs, if you think the media is bad now, it's going to be hellfire in San Francisco if they do. I don't think they do. I think they win 10 games. I think they win this division still. I believe they win this division. But I'm just saying anything's possible. It's football.
No, you're right, because if they do miss the playoffs this year, which I don't think that's going to happen, but you can't predict the season. Otherwise, if you did, I'd be making millions of dollars.
Millionaire.
But if they don't make playoffs, you're right, it's going to be a shitstorm of an offseason. It's going to be a lot of drama, media controversy, this and that. It already is. It's week 2, and there's a lot of media controversy. So I want to get to some of these comments and questions I want to address real quick. Big Beard says, what I've been saying is Trey was overdrafted, in my opinion. They could have sat, and he would have fell to them. I don't know. Do you think that they could have got him at number 12? I feel like maybe not. Maybe no. They could. I don't think so. I think they knew in their heart of hearts
12
straight up to get to that 3rd pick. Maybe not 3, but they had to move up somewhere, and 3 was the move. They wouldn't have been able to get Trey Lance if they didn't move up there. I think in their heart of hearts, that's what they thought. Like, listen, I don't think so, because his ceiling was high. Last year was a huge draft for quarterbacks. Like, it was the quarterback draft, like one of the best in a long time. You know, there was so much players that were highly scouted coming out of college last year. So I don't.
Let me ask you this, guys. You ever go shopping and you want like something really bad? And you checking around at the prices in the store, and there's one store that has it cheaper, but it's so far away, you're not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? So if you want this thing, you want this item, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to pay a little bit more for it. Yeah. And that's what the 49ers did, right? And so I don't think they overdrafted Trey Lance. He was the guy they wanted. I really believe that was the guy they wanted. And you can't play this game in the NFL. Don't act like y'all don't play don't act like y'all ain't do fantasy football and you were like, yo, I know I could wait on this guy. Ain't nobody thinking about this guy. Next thing you know, the person right in front of you picks the guy peachy, and then you be like, mother freaker. It happens every time. You don't want that to happen when that's your guy at the quarterback.
Yeah.
My one caveat to that is what they wanted was that 2nd overall pick, but the Jets wouldn't give it to him. What they wanted was that Zach Wilson, BYU.
I don't think they wanted Zach. I think they would have still drafted Trey at 2 if they moved up, bro.
I don't see. Here's the thing. The reason I maybe you're right. Maybe. The reason I don't think so is because Salah and why am I blanking on his name? The offensive coordinator before Mike McDaniels. He went over with Salah. Why am I blanking on his name?
Not Mike McDaniels.
Jets offensive coordinator.
LaFleur.
LaFleur. Yeah. Not that, but the other one.
Yeah. They when they went over to the Jets, they knew what Kyle said. They brought Kyle's system over, and they knew Zach Wilson was going to be the perfect guy. Now, I'll tell you, thank God we didn't get that 2nd pick. Thank God we didn't get Zach Wilson now, right? You wouldn't want to deal with the crap you're dealing with over there in New York. But so we're happy with Trey, but I really do think that if they had their pick and they couldn't get Trevor Lawrence, I think Kyle would have taken Zach.
I don't
That's
know,
Kyle.
bro.
Like, look, that's Kyle, bro. That's Kyle's MO. That's like that dude.
I don't know.
Come on.
He was always too brittle for me, man. He was too brittle for my.
That's Kyle. That's Kyle's MO. That's Kyle's dude. That's what he likes. That's Brandon Boyer.
That's not what Kyle said he wanted in that press conference after he got his ass whipped by the Buffalo Bills. That's he like Zach Wilson wasn't in one of those descriptive words from Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't match any of that other than the big arm. I think he has a big arm.
I think the arm is nice from Wilson, but I don't think he hit all the check boxes that Kyle would have wanted in a quarterback. Like I think initially people thought he was going to be that because he was coming out. He had the hype, and it was like on that Zach Wilson bandwagon. It was like, oh, dude, because I was. But the more you saw things and you saw the scouting and in the film and everything, and once Kyle talked about it, what do you say? He goes, you want a guy that can run like Lamar but throw like Drew Brees. Like, to me, not Zach Wilson. To me, I mean, it really looks like that is the Trey Lance type guy. Like, he can run. He's a big, thick guy that can run, and he's a hard-nosed runner, and he has the cannon. Like, he just needs to fine-tune everything. And one thing Breezy said earlier was the fact of the matter, and this is what Trey said, he goes, the difference in college between the NFL and his running ability, he's not the biggest, fastest, strongest guy anymore. He used to be. He used to be the biggest, fastest, strongest guy. He could truck everybody over. He's trying that in the NFL, and he's failing because you have guys like Roquan Smith that you're going to try to truck, and you're not going to do it. You need to learn how to slide it. Again, it goes back to that whole point of I love Trey, man, and I know he has it. And he's raw, man, and that's what we all said. And he has to kind of protect himself a little bit better. But again, the biggest takeaway out of everything for this whole weekend, if the Niners win, then everybody will be a little bit happier. The media will kind of calm down. But you know what they'll say? You know what they'll say? If the Niners beat Seattle and we get a dub at home, they're just going to say, well, it's just Seattle. So they're always going to find a way to move the market, move the needle and say, well, it's just Seattle. Prove it again. Now you got Denver on the road, Mile High City, against Russell Wilson. Now, can you beat a real quarterback? You beat Geno Smith. It's just Seattle. So every week, they're going to keep moving the marker. So
and if we beat Denver.
Yeah, then if we beat Denver, well, now you got to beat the Rams, Now you get the Rams. So, and then they'll say, well, Denver has a rookie head coach, and they're struggling. So there's always going to be a way for them to flip it. Because what Breezy said earlier and what we were talking about is the media, they're setting their way of making this a negative story, of making it, okay, Trey Lance, we know whenever we post something negative, Niner fans, they react to it. They're like, rats to it. They're like, oh, my God. They're hating our quarterback. They're putting us in negative light. And Niner fans, what happened? They talk shit about our player. Bro, we come out there next. We come post clown emojis to Colin Cowherd. We're calling them out. That's what they want. They don't care if they're getting called out. They want the attention. They want the clout. And we're falling into their rat trap.
We're giving them clout.
In a trap, like it's like a trap for a rat, a mouse trap. They're feeding us.
Absolutely.
We're eating the poison, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
For sure. Guys, I'm going to run out here, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Raj. I got to get set up for my show tonight, bro.
No doubt. I got to hop on with Travis King. We're doing a little raffle here at 5. So I appreciate you guys for hopping on. This was a fun show. Let's hope we get the dub on Sunday, man.
Let's get this dub, baby. Enjoy the game, too, Raj. I know you're going to be there.
Yeah,
enjoy that game, dude.
Any Niner fan that's there, if you see me, say what's up to your boy. Hug me, kiss me, show me, throw me. Take pictures with me, whatever you want to do.
Buying beers.
Back it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh, no. I'm just...
Let's go, baby.
All right, dude. Have a good night, Raj.
Good one, man. Let's go. Hey, you guys have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good, show. I hope everybody had a good Friday. We have 2 more days until game day. Let's hope we get a win. Let's hope we get a dub. Because if we get a dub, I think everybody's going to feel better next week. This was I'm going to be honest. This was a very long week. Like, after a loss, it feels like the weeks become 2 weeks. It feels like the show, it feels like the weeks become 2. I don't know. It's just how it feels. So I pray that we get a dub because things are so much nicer in my neck of the woods and for everybody else after a win. So I appreciate you guys. Let's hope we beat Seattle. Hit the like button and appreciate the support. Let's go. Bang, bang. Not a gang, man. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the comments. I love you. Nia says on to Instagram. Yeah, you know what we got to do? We got to hop on to the IG. I love y'all, man.